everything is coming together properly for XRP's next big move. In this video, we're going to look at the charts right away. I'm going to show you some very bullish signs that make me think XRP is going to do very well in the future. This video will go over the charts, conduct a deep dive, and talk about all my favorite signs that are showing up right now. This is because something very big recently happened. Not many people will tell you why this is so crucial, but it is very important for the next step forward. Like, wow, you're really helping this channel out. Thanks to everyone who likes these films and subscribes to the channel. These two easy things actually do assist me a lot. If you ever need to buy some XRP, you should also check out my favorite exchange. I'm going to take down the video description. That being said, don't listen to it all the way through. I hope you enjoy the content. So I want to start this video by talking about something incredibly important that is happening right now. And I don't think a lot of people in the XRP community really respect or pay enough attention to this due of tribalism in the sector. But it's really crucial. It's one of the most positive signs for XRP in history. Bitcoin is hitting a new all-time high, which is a sign from the past. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like Bitcoin. I don't put money into Bitcoin." That's okay. But it's a good sign of what XRP will do next. Let's compare the price of XRP to that of Bitcoin. And as you can see, Bitcoin is now at a new all-time high. This is wonderful because XRP accomplishes the same things as Bitcoin, but it does them more faster and just a little bit behind. So we can see that Bitcoin reached its highest point ever in 2021, and XRP quickly caught up. Then we can see that Bitcoin went up a lot, and then XRP caught up. And now, we're probably just waiting for the same thing to happen again. So, the fact that Bitcoin is at an all-time high is very good news, and we're not in a situation anymore where everyone is worrying about the next bear market and how afraid they are. It was just a regular correction on the way up, and it's amazing to see Bitcoin leading the way because it usually indicates XRP will follow. This time, we don't have to deal with all the crap that comes with it. Is that right? We don't have the Ripple SEC case. These other things aren't holding us back. XRP is in a great spot to become one of the most prominent cryptocurrencies in this industry. And when Ripple keeps making big movements like Hidden Road and maybe even Circle, the demand for the XRP token will only grow. We can see that XRP is basically simply sitting at a beautiful level right now, which is precisely what we thought would happen, right? XRP was able to stay in the $2 range. It seems like there was a little bit of a worry when we were holding that $2 range, but we're doing a good job of it now. And now we're just making sure that the support we gave is still there. This is a pretty critical level for us right here at $2.25. While Bitcoin is moving, XRP is holding steady right above it. I see it as Bitcoin tearing down the walls and XRP hauling it all the way back like a slingshot. Just bringing it back a little more, and sitting just on this support, ready to catch up to Bitcoin. That's what always occurs. It's all coming together brilliantly. We've looked at this chart so many times, but here is exactly where XRP consolidated the last time, in 2017, right at its last spike, which happened in 2022, around the February level. So it seems like everything is going according to plan, which is a little strange. And one of those things where I never expect things would just go back to how they were. I don't really believe that these cycles are going to keep happening the same way. I think there will be a big change at some time when people can't count on the same thing happening over and over again. But I'm sure that right now it's following the usual pattern, and everything seems very good for XRP right now. There's more than that now. It seems like we're also making a bottoming structure on XRP to Bitcoin. So at this point, we're at the very bottom of this area. I think that XRP to Bitcoin is going to hit bottom right around these levels where we've been hitting bottom for the past few months and then start to rise. And XRP is probably going to go up a lot against Bitcoin. And you know what? That will probably happen when Bitcoin goes up and XRP catches up to Bitcoin. So all of these things are coming together perfectly, and it's all happening just at this support level for XRP as it finishes this consolidation pattern, which is precisely where XRP consolidated back in 2017. We have talked about that chart a million times. I don't want to waste time looking at that chart again. We need to look at Bitcoin domination next, though. Bitcoin domination is growing over time, isn't it? This channel has been going up and up since 2022, and it's still going strong. It won't always be like this, isn't that right? Bitcoin's supremacy is going to fall out of this trend. And the fact that we've been in this pattern for so long makes me even more sure that we're about to get out of here. Everything is pointing to the fact that this market is set to get very hot. Bitcoin is just starting to move, and a lot of these other cryptocurrencies are too. I think Bitcoin is right in the center of its long-term channel and ready to leave it. And if we look at the long-term Bitcoin dominance chart, we can see that this happens a lot with Bitcoin. Is that right? It goes through these big crashes, then it recovers, then it crashes again, then it recovers again. I assume the next crash is going to happen soon. More and more banks and other financial organizations are using cryptocurrency technology these days. I was just on Twitter talking to some Bitcoin maxes about this a few minutes ago, and it's one of the things they still can't quite understand. They all think that banks and other financial organizations will use stablecoins, but they haven't yet figured out that you can't place a stablecoin on Bitcoin, isn't it? And they're all like, these stablecoins are going to sell for a lot of money and they're going to be huge. Banks will use them. But they still haven't thought about the reality that these stablecoins need to be on a network. There isn't a stable cryptocurrency network. That's right, stablecoins are made on Ethereum, Solana, and the X.R.P ledger. I still think that the X.R.P ledger, especially after Circle bought it, will be a place where a lot of stablecoins are made. But since all these institutions are putting deposits and tokenized assets on these decentralized ledgers, the native token serves as a native form of liquidity for the hundreds of millions and billions of dollars that are being produced on the network. XRP is the main source of liquidity for the whole enterprise. All of these banks and other financial institutions are going to put more and more value on these systems. It's plain sense to know that this will make the native decentralized asset on such chains more valuable. It doesn't matter if it's speculation or utility. Bitcoin will lose its prominence over time because it was the only game in town for a long period. It was the one thing that people genuinely cared about. And now, for the first time, a lot of these networks are being used a lot in the traditional banking world. And it doesn't mean that Bitcoin's price needs to drop. It basically means that Bitcoin's supremacy will slowly go down over time. I suspect you'll keep seeing things like this happen, where Bitcoin's market share slowly drops to around 10%. I believe it will stay at 10% for a long time. Is that right? But that doesn't mean that none of these other networks will be doing anything. Even the biggest Bitcoin fans can't avoid the fact that these assets and deposits will keep being tokenized. It's merely a better piece of tech. No one wants to transmit wires. ACHs are not something anyone wants to send. They only want the value to be there and for it to be useful. That's what stablecoins are. They can't accomplish that by themselves. They need this decentralized train, which is the cryptocurrency networks where an asset like X.R.P is native liquidity. One of the first things people asked me was if I